So, صحتك قبل سقمك. Take advantage of your health before you become sick. Then he says, وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. Take advantage of your wealth before you become impoverished, before you lose it. And it's kind of counterintuitive. Today we think like, oh, it's a bad economy. I need to store up my wealth in case I lose my job. Right? I need to save up in case I lose my job. But it's actually the opposite in Islam. It's like today I have a job, so I should spend for the sake of Allah, because tomorrow I don't know if I'm going to have my job. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to donate. So today I should. Today I take advantage of that opportunity. وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that the people will say on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that donate in the cause of Allah for various things, whatever it may be, for sadaqah, helping the poor, helping the masjid, helping, all kinds of different projects, whatever it may be. It says, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُم مِّن قَبْلِ أَن يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. That donate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before death comes to you. And yet here it's death, but also it's very possible that we lose our job. Or we get involved in something where we have to pay an incredible amount of bills and we're not able to at that point to donate. We have other things come up, and this is part of life. And this is part of this poverty. And so that person will say on that day, لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنَا إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ. That, oh Allah, give me a few moments, give me respite for a little bit of time. فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Surely I will donate. Surely I'll give in charity. I'll give that wealth that I didn't want to give when they asked after Jummah to give money and I walked right out. Or, when somebody asked me, hey, can you give me $1 for some food? Or all of those things that we generally neglect. He says, فَأَصَّدَّقَ. Surely I'll give. وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And I'll be among the righteous. So taking advantage of our wealth before we become impoverished. A person might, get in an accident. A person might lose their, might, get in some sort of difficult situation where they won't be able to, where they have to pay all of their money just to cover their expenses. And today we have excess. And so taking that opportunity, today we have a job, tomorrow we might not. Let me use that opportunity, let me use that wealth for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he says, وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغُلِكَ. Take advantage of your free time before you become busy. And so this is actually one that I want to spend a few moments on, because this is something that today we all think we're really busy. We're really busy. And so فَرَاغَكَ, it's not saying just general time. But it's talking about your extra time. It's talking about, your time that the time you're not at work, the time that you don't have other obligations. How much of that time do we waste? And thinking about it. And then also, this doesn't mean that you have to be engaged 24 hours a day in reading Quran, right? But وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ. How much time do we waste? Our free time, that the only thing, the person who goes to Jannah, person who goes to paradise, they have no regrets. The person who goes to paradise has no regrets, except one thing. And that thing is, I wish I would have said one more subhanallah. Because that takes you to the next level. So a person, for example, buys a new car, right? A brand new car, brand new Toyota. And they're like so proud of it, they're so happy, they're so excited, I got a brand new Toyota, they're excited. And then they see a guy who just bought a brand new Lexus. And he's kind of like, well, I wish I had that, right? And so that's that sort of like feeling that's natural, that you look at someone and you say that, I wish I had a little bit more. And so the only regret in Jannah is all bliss, Jannah is all, the best everything you can imagine, but there are still levels. And the person above you, you'll notice the difference. The person said one more subhanallah, and that person gets a higher level. And so they say that الوقت كالصيف إن لم تقطعه قطعك. That time is like a sword, right? Time is like a sword. And that if you don't use it, it will cut you. And any moment any moment that passes is over. Any moment that passes, Hassan al-Basri says that when a day passes, part of you passes. Part of you goes with that day. And we have this concept today, generally, like we use this term a lot. It's like, what are you doing? No, I'm just killing time, man. I just got a couple hours, I'm just killing some time. And killing time, they say, is actually you're killing yourself. Because you're killing a portion of you without doing anything productive, right? And not just productive, but we're actually, doing the opposite. We're actually doing something that's counterproductive, that's going to be held against us. And so the first question on the Day of Judgment, the first question, the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says that a person won't be able to move. A person won't be able to move until they are asked about their life, or how they lived their life, their time and how they spent it, and also their youth, specifically. And so these are the questions that we have to think about. If we look even in our modern day life, read a biography of one of these big CEOs, right? These leading CEOs. Go down to Silicon Valley, and see some of these big CEOs and how, by our standards, how successful they are, right? They've amassed a lot of wealth and they have a huge company. I mean, look at their bios and see how much time they waste in a day, right? They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They sleep for like 2 or 3 hours a day. They have a few assistants just managing their schedule, trying to get somebody in 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Complete optimization of their day by worldly standards, right? And so we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that man gets nothing but what he strives for. So that person strives. They wake up at 4 in the morning. You come for Fajr now and you see all these people on the road going to work. When Muslims are sleeping, we're sleeping. But all of these other people, they're going to work at 6 in the morning. And so you see that they put in that effort and they get their reward. You'll see the results of that effort. And so the question then becomes is, نِعْمَتَانِ مَغْبُونٌ فِيهِمَا كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ. 2 blessings that most of the people are in loss about are صِحَّةٌ وَالْفَرَاغ, are health and free time. So today we have a lot of free time, particularly if you think about, how much time after work, afterwards, completely like that relaxation time where we're just kicking it. How much of that time are we using for worshiping Allah? And even associating with the family and spending time with the family can be worship of Allah. But how much time are we spending, say, reading Quran? And if you think back, even internally to our own selves, if you look back at, let's say, Ramadan a few months ago now, right? What was our schedule? What was our routine? It was very much regimented in order to get things done. It was impossible to just kind of live your life in Ramadan and actually still get things done. You had to be like, okay, this is the time I'm going to do this is the time I'm going to do this, I'm going to read Quran at this time, this is my iftar time, this is Tarawih time, this is Fajr. And there was a very regimented schedule, and there was a lot less wasted time in Ramadan. There was barakah in the time. But after Ramadan, how is it? It's the opposite, generally speaking. So that's the thing that we really have to remember is this free time is a blessing. This free time is the blessing that everybody has, and we don't know if we'll have it tomorrow. Again, we don't know if we'll be involved in some sort of thing, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us, that would take away our time, right? That would involve us and get us busy in some sort of work or in some sort of affair, whatever it may be. Well, we don't have any time. And so the Prophet ﷺ, he sums all of these things up in the 5th one. He says, وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ, and take advantage of your life before your death. Take advantage of your life before your death. So they say, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes this again. He says that the people, when death will come to them, they'll say, رَبَّنَا أَخِرْنَا إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ, that, oh Allah, delay it for a little bit. أَخِرْنَا إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ نُجِبْ دَعْوَتَكَ وَنَتَّبِعُ الرُّسُلِ. That we will respond to your call, وَنَتَّبِعُ الرُّسُلِ, and we will follow the Prophet, your Prophet. And so these are the things that we take for granted. We think that, I'm going to live till I'm 70, till I'm 80, till I'm 90, because we see most people around us do. Most people around us do, but we have no guarantee. How many times do we hear about a story of someone that in their youth, someone that's young and passes away suddenly? So we don't know if we'll make it home. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us. We don't know anything. So taking advantage of each and every moment. So there's plenty of ways in which we can evaluate ourselves, and it's an internal evaluation and reflection, and be like, what am I not doing? But I just wanted to pick one example of something that I think ties a lot of these together, and that's the attending the masjid. That's attending the masjid. So it's coming to the masjid. So if you look, the 5 things are what? He says that take advantage of your youth before you get old, take advantage of your health before you get sick, take advantage of your wealth before you become impoverished, you're in your free time before you lose your free time, before you get busy, and your life before your death. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this masjid. Every time we come for Jumu'ah, we think, why are we in such a small space? Every single time we pray Jumu'ah Salah, and it's just everyone on top of each other. But the reason is because outside of Jumu'ah, the masjid is completely, there's tons of space outside of Jumu'ah, outside of Ramadan, there's a lot of space. And so it's really something to reflect upon, that how many times do we have the opportunity? The ulama say that when one of the ways to implement this is when you have a good idea in your mind to immediately implement it. So how many times do we think it's Isha time, I could go to the masjid. Whatever, I'll just pray at home. Right? So today we have we're youth, we have the ability to walk, we have the ability to actually have that vigor and to come to the masjid. We have the ability, we have the health. You know, tomorrow we might want to come to the masjid. We might want to come for Fajr tomorrow, but we're not going to physically be able to do it. And so take advantage of that today. Today we have the wealth, you know, we have gas money. We're not walking, we're driving, you know. And we have the ability that we take for granted, just even enough money to pay for gas. And we have the ability to come to the masjid, but we don't do it. We have free time. You know, we're working, but we have free time, particularly at Fajr and Isha. You know, there's very few people who are working at that time. There are very few people who are working at that time. And the Prophet ﷺ says, in terms of going back to the analogy of like these CEOs and these people who are very successful, they understand what is maximizing a return. Right? You want to do the least amount of work for the most reward. That's an intelligent person. A person who does, you know, who's going to put in the effort. You don't want to spend hours doing something that you know is going to give you a very small return. But something that's very small and gives you a huge return, that's obviously a good investment. And so the Prophet ﷺ says that the person, just something very easy that's just generally pervasively neglected, is the person who prays Isha in the masjid. The person who prays Isha in the masjid gets the reward of half the night of worship. Half the night of worship. It's 10 minutes, and you get the reward of half the night of worship. And the person who comes back and prays Fajr in the masjid gets the reward of the other half the night in worship. SubhanAllah. So it's investing a small amount of time, and today we have the ability to do it, but we neglect it. And if the masjid was this full every day for Fajr and Isha, I'm pretty sure they would be looking for a new spot. I'm pretty sure. You know, so that's a way to inshallah, to force them to do that. So this is the thing, just one example that just, comes to mind is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us all of these opportunities and these abilities to do those things today, but if we don't take advantage of them, who knows whether tomorrow when we want to do them, we'll be able to do them. And the Prophet ﷺ says that the intelligent person is man dana nafsahu wa amila lima ba'da al-maut, is the one who takes account of himself, who thinks about these things. The point of me saying them is not just so much that you listen, but it's for me to think about them. Like, how much free time do I have? How much, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us health and wealth and free time and all of these things. How am I really using them? And for me to think, and for each and every one of you to think, وَعَمِلَ لِمَا بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ, and to do those deeds that'll benefit him after death, which are really righteous deeds, which are good deeds. And the foolish person is the one who basically says, مَنْ أَتْبَعَ نَفْسَهُ هَوَاهَا وَتَمَنَّى عَلَى اللَّهِ, who's basically just kind of relaxed. It's like, Allah's Ghafur Rahim. Reading the Quran every day, Allah's Ghafur Rahim. Allah says, He's most forgiving. So, I'm young, I'll do it when I get older. Or, I'll do it tomorrow. Or I'll do it, later. I'll do it later. That concept of doing it later, we don't know if that later will come. And we also don't know if, we'll have those capacities and those faculties and those gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us later on in our life. So we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us among those people who utilize or spend our youth in His worship. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes us among those people who utilize our good health for His sake. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He protect us from sicknesses, protect us from illnesses, and He cure all those people who are sick and who are ill and who are trying to get healthy. Ya Allah, we ask that You give them shifa. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to use our wealth for His sake, and He protects us from poverty. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the tawfiq to use our time for His sake. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from wasting our time. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use our life for His sake and to give us a death on His kalima la ilaha illallah. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'an al-azim wa nafa'na wa iyyakum bima fihi min al-ayati wa dhikr al-hakim. Innahu jawadun kareem wa malikun dharrun wa rabbun rahim. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه مباركا عليه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله أما بعد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى علي صلاة صلى الله عليه بها عشرا اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين. So, صحتك قبل سقمك. Take advantage of your health before you become sick. Then he says, وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. Take advantage of your wealth before you become impoverished, before you lose it. And it's kind of counterintuitive. Today we think like, oh, it's a bad economy. I need to store up my wealth in case I lose my job. Right? I need to save up in case I lose my job. But it's actually the opposite in Islam. And so that person will say on that day, لَوْلَا أَخَرْتَنَا إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ. That, oh Allah, give me a few moments, give me respite for a little bit of time. فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Surely I will donate. Surely I'll give in charity. I'll give that wealth that I didn't want to give when they asked after Jummah to give money and I walked right out. Or, when somebody asked me, hey, can you give me $1 for some food? Or all of those things that we generally neglect. He says all kinds of different projects, whatever it may be. He says, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُم مِّن قَبْلِ أَن يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. That donate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before death comes to you. And yet here it's death, but also it's very possible that we lose our job. Or we get involved in something where we have to pay an incredible amount of bills and we're not able to at that point to donate. We have other things come up and this is part of life. And this is part of this poverty. فَأَصَّدَّقَ. Surely I'll give. وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And I'll be among the righteous. So taking advantage of our wealth before we become impoverished. A person might get in an accident. A person might lose their, might, get in some sort of difficult situation where they won't be able to, where they have to pay all of their money just to cover their expenses. And today we have excess, and so taking that opportunity, it's like today I have a job, so I should spend for the sake of Allah because tomorrow I don't know if I'm going to have my job. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to donate. So today I should. Today I take advantage of that opportunity. وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that the people will say on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that donate in the cause of Allah for various things, whatever it may be, for sadaqah, helping the poor, helping the masjid, helping